What is up? In this episode, we're drawing Bizarro. There's a lot of different types of people have drawn Bizarro like a lot of different ways. I've been reading Redhood and the Outlaws lately, the DC Rebirth, that whole thing. Redhood and the Outlaws is freaking awesome, and the only reason I picked it up is because Bizarro is in it. Bizarro is one of my all-time favorite characters. Bizarro, if you don't know about Bizarro, Bizarro is a clone of Superman. Depending on what, in this, it's a clone of Superman. Like, sometimes he's, like, alternate universe version, it's a clone of Superman that didn't develop right, it's kind of jacked up. But I've always loved Bizarro because where Superman is, like, truth, justice, the American way, like, just a good dude. Bizarro isn't necessarily a bad guy. He's just kinda messed up. Like, Bizarro is like an innocent giant kid. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he has Superman's memories, which make him like a tragic character. It just make him super tragic. But Bizarro's just one of the coolest guys because he's so simple. Like if you watch Smallville, the Bizarro in that, he's not necessarily like when he was Bizarro, I think it was like a piece of him that came out because of kryptonite, something like that, and he was like evil. The Bizarro in Red Hood and the Outlaws, that Bizarro is freaking, he's cool. He's adorable. He's dressed like Superman. But when they first show him, he's in, when Lex first captures him, Lex has him, and he's in overalls. That is, when I saw that, I was like, oh, he stole my heart. He's in overalls. Like, how cool is that? So I was like, I'm going to draw Bizarro in overalls, because that's just freaking awesome. But, like, he calls Red Hood and the Outlaws is like a dark trinity. It's the dark trinity of, like, Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. Because it's Red Hood, who's the Batman character, Bizarro, who's Superman, and there's Artemis, who's Wonder Woman. She's an Amazonian, he's, clone of Superman, and Red Hood used to be a Robin. So, and he uses guns, which is pretty freaking cool. And, like, but what happened is that Red Hood was helping Black Mask look for the weapon. Lex Luthor picks up, was it Lex Luthor or Black? Oh, I guess it was Black Mask, wasn't it? It was Black Mask. Black Mask picks up Bizarro as kind of an ultimate weapon, using a technovirus to try to control him. And, he gets Bizarro. And Bizarro, he has them captured. And, like, where Artemis is just she's looking for a certain weapon, that's why she's there. Red Hood's trying to infiltrate and get him. He's still kind of a good guy. But then he finds Bizarro. And Bizarro, they kind of become friends. He calls him Red Him. And because Artemis is a redhead, he calls her Red Her. Which I think is super adorable. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's, like, Bizarro's just like this big kid, like, me and Bizarro. Like, he doesn't talk right, like, he's not developed correctly, but he knows what it's like to be good. Like, he's trying to be good in the way he can understand it, but he can't understand anything that well. And so your heart breaks for the character. And I love tragic characters. I love characters like that have that kind of element to them. Like, he wants to be good, but he kind of can't be. Like, he's just awesome. Like, freaking Bizarro's freaking great. Like, he's got all the power of Superman, but in kind of an inverse way. Like, he should breathe fire, like, technically. He has some other kinds of powers. Like, he has ice vision. like with his eyes, he can create, instead of heat vision, he has cold vision. And so, and I do realize, if you're watching this drawing, I do realize I screwed up. I do realize that the right arm, which is closer, is smaller than the left arm that's further away. Like that was a screw up on my part. But to be fair, this drawing took me forever. I don't know why it took me so long, but it took me forever to do. And at a certain point, I was like, I'm just gonna finish. Like, I'm just gonna finish. Like, I noticed it a little late, because I was just drawing it. I noticed it a little late, but then, by the time I noticed it, I was like, I think I was already inking it when I noticed. And so I was like, oh, I don't have whiteout. I don't have whiteout, so I can't even, like, pretend to, like, fix that. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna throw it out there. Who cares? You know, like, it's not gonna change anybody's life because one arm's not as big as the other. And if you didn't notice, hey, I could have pretended this was Hellboy or something. You know what I mean? I should have just brought it up as Hellboy, put some horns on him. But like I said, I don't have whiteout, so I couldn't even do that. It'd be all messed up. Anyway, yeah, Bizarro is one of my favorite characters. I know this is Redhood in the Outlaws, and it's mostly about Redhood, but I only picked it up because of Bizarro. And Bizarro, I picked up the Volume 1, the graphic novel, so I'm going to start reading the individual issues, because I'm pretty far behind on this thing. So, like, I finished the graphic novel, but Bizarro, that's a text message. But Bizarro is because he's a clone and he's not a perfect clone, he's gonna die. Like, and that's where the story's leading up to. Like, Bizarro's gonna die. And so I really want to read what happens there, because I think I've only looked at the covers of the books and all that, but it looks like Bizarro's, like, they're gonna fix him somehow, but then he becomes kind of smart. Like, he becomes smart, so something happened. But, you know, he's obviously going to become Bizarro again, because a smart Bizarro is just a weird-looking Superman. Yeah, I've just always loved the backwards S. The backwards S is cool. Like, Bizarro's just... I would be friends with Bizarro before I'd ever be friends with Superman. You know what I mean? Like, Bizarro's one of the... Bizarro's the type of guy that you would be friends with. You would want to hang out with him and, like, beat up people who are mean to him or just point him in the right direction. But that's Bizarro, man. Bizarro's my absolute favorite character. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, do the whole thing. Alright, thanks.